One. All right. So I have three very special guests here on the Mr. Irrelevant podcast.
Jersey.
And yes, this is the all Jersey episode. So we are all here to talk our shit. So again, I'm Ty, and then if you all could introduce yourselves.
I guess I'll go first. All right. My name is Dua. White people call me Steven. Ladies call me Vocals. Wow.
Well, I go second. Go ahead. Yeah, I go second. Everyone call me Jamal or Jay.
Who calls you Jay, bro?
Dog, he's a Twitter legend.
Oh shit, my fault, Jay.
An icon.
A Twitter legend. The real Jay. Wow. All right, I guess that leaves me. I'm Marcus. People call me Marcus. Ladies call me Marcus. That's all I go by. Yeah.
No street names.
No street names, no nicknames. No, we just keep it simple for everybody.
Right. Actually, I was on, so Friday night, I went to the Big Three. They were playing up here in Boston. And so that was pretty funny of a night. But I noticed two things.
Everybody.
Listen, some of the... The biggest moment there for me was that Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf at 49 was cooking everybody. But the thing that I really came out of that night with, besides the fact that I'm pretty sure I'm taller than Nate Robinson, and that Ron Artest is a very large human being, is that Corey Maggette definitely looks like Neo. I cannot tell them apart. And he had Ghost on the back of his uniform, and I need to know who has ever called Corey Maggette Ghost in their entire life.
Maybe he's the real Ghost from Power, bro. He's been body.
But he looks like Neo. He doesn't look like Ghost. All right, so today we're going to talk about LeBron. Since we last recorded, we had touched up on just everything that was going on over the summer. And part of that was, talking about LeBron going to the Lakers and how he felt about it. But in that week's time, news of LeBron's I Promise Academy or school dropped. And Twitter, the entire world just went aflame in support for LeBron and everything that he continues to do for his local community. There was a CNN interview with Don Lemon about it too. Part of that was Don, I felt like kind of aggressively trying to get him to say that he was looking forward to a career in politics, to which basically he said that if it was him going up against your mans that's in office right now, and there was no one else that he would run. Listen,
He's not nobody messing. You voted Trump, bro.
I made a vow when we started this that I would not say that person's name. So I typically call him your mans. But if you guys are saying that that's not...
Can you call him by his proper name, Mr. President? the greatest president in our history.
Hey, as that guy, that black pastor said, he's the most pro-black president we've ever had. Like as if Bill Clinton didn't exist. Like I don't know what he's talking about.
Check the numbers, bro. Check the number. Barack Obama.
Hey, man.
Barack Obama's fake news, bro. Check the numbers.
Check the numbers. Or I'll call him 45, as I did put on the topic sheet. I put the number 45 there, so I guess we can go with that since none of us are really, I guess, fans of him. So I guess the first piece of it is the school. So I didn't really get everything about all the stuff that the school entails. I know that there was some piece of it where he was going to, I think, help the parents get jobs. I know the students who go there will have free tuition to the University of Akron. Any one of you kind of know a little bit more details about the school? And I know he plans on it being first grade through 8th grade, but right now I think it's just 3rd and 4th.
Correct. He also he gives everyone bikes who goes to that school, so they'll have brand new bikes and helmets. You know, they on the main streets of Akron. I think he also they're planning on expanding that past University of Akron. It's just right now he has that connection with them already. I think he's already sending kids there right now, so he already has that connection with that university.
Yeah, I did hear the thing about the the bike and helmets too. And is this just for kids in Akron?
That's what I got. It's a public school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a public school.
For kids in that area, yeah.
You know, there's actually another school. My friend Abdullah, he went to the Hershey, and they do the same shit, but they expanded to all Pennsylvania schools where you can go for free. I never heard of that before that, and then now LeBron's doing that, so that's kind of dope.
Wow.
And they have a way bigger, I guess, what's the word, endowment than LeBron's gonna have. So he's basically funding a lot of shit.
Yeah, and so I did watch a few different things on there. Yeah, so I'm looking at a thing right now. It says 240 3rd and 4th graders will make up the inaugural class. It's, I guess a collaboration between his foundation and Akron Public Schools. There's going to be a longer school day. I think it was 8 to 5, I believe. And support circle for students after lunch, GED courses, and let's turn that off. Support circle for students after lunch, GED courses, and job placement for parents. And this is from time.com. So I can feel somewhat journalistic here. So, yeah, I mean, as I was saying before we had gotten online, I mean, he's not the first athlete to have a school. I believe David Robinson has one, Andre Agassi, and then obviously Jalen Rose does as well. Yep.
Lewis has one.
I was about to say who. Code name Ray Lewis. Oh man.
He's worse than Trump, bro. At least Trump's white and racist. He's black and confused.
Yeah, we'll get Ray Lewis up out of the paint a little later.
All the Ray Lewis slander.
Yeah, get him up out of here.
And he killed somebody. How are you talking all that shit? He killed people.
Hey, I mean Marvin Harrison, and I guess I shouldn't say his name out loud. But Marvin Harrison is also along that list, but we like him, so, and we're probably a little bit more afraid of him. But I was here for Ray Lewis's daughter, though. I might need to, come strapped up when I make that proposal. But
I wrote guys last night in the Hall of Fame shit. Why do they all have 15 children?
Yeah. I did not know Randy Moss had like 12 kids.
Yeah, and I didn't know he had a black wife, because remember he was dating that sad ass white thing. That's what all his kids is light skinned.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm not sure. I do know that the son who had presented him actually came to school literally a town from where I'm at right now in Rhode Island. And I did receive news from Jaymes that I guess he is transferring to LSU right now. So, yeah. So that's pretty cool. But I've been making fun of Antonio Cromartie all this time, and I should have given him more respect because apparently this is what everybody does.
This is normal.
Yeah, that's wild. So do you guys have any more thoughts on LeBron's school? How do you think it compares to kind of the other schools that are out there? How do you think it's going to go? Is I think another thing to talk about.
Going to be successful, but what I got all out of it is like LeBron is really phasing into like he's basically doing everything Jordan hasn't done, because everyone like I feel like he's really aware and he sees that like Jordan gets criticized for not doing shit, and like now he's trying to still make that a part of his legacy. So I mean, at the end of the day, he's doing a good deed, but I know he's going to do the shit for some game.
I mean, it's definitely good for the community, just for someone who grew up in a tough environment like LeBron has. So for him to come forward and actually proceed with, building the school and try to make it as successful as possible, I think it is a good opportunity for him, and it actually may influence others to start getting involved in a bigger way like LeBron has been doing.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought, like just going through like the bullets of all the offerings that the school has, is that I wish they had schools like that when I was coming up. Even though I went to the same school as you guys. I went to pretty good schools in Bloomfield. It sounds like a really awesome school, and I don't get why that's not the model for all public schools.
Yeah.
In the country, like we should really be. I mean, if we had a competent government, if we could be working to make schools just like the I Promise schools. We don't have that right now.
It's because we're putting all our money in defense.
I mean, yeah, we've been doing that forever, because it's better to have a strong army than smart people. I guess that's interesting, big. But
a little backwards.
But no, yeah. But also I think another thing is that it's a public school. A lot of the schools that you guys mentioned from other athletes, those are charter schools. Those are schools that basically run by private donors, and they're basically private schools, but they kind of just serve a public good. It's kind of like an outsourcing thing. I think it's interesting that he decided to build a public school, one that's kind of partnering with the government. It's more of a public partnership, which is a lot more interesting than I think what it's very interesting, just considering how popular charter schools are.
Yeah.
How they've really been growing the last few years. So I think it's really commendable to see him go this route.
Yeah.
Because I definitely did not see that coming from him.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you said too about it being a public school. I mean, for me, coming up in Newark, and it's funny just seeing the rise of charter schools. So the school that I went to, and also France, and I think a few other people who wound up going to Seton Hall, was I basically believe kind of like a charter school before the rise of charter schools. And the big thing with Link was that they had came to all the Newark public schools, and their thing was they had all these different partnerships. So through the partnerships that they had, I got to do fencing, and I got to go to the Bahamas, and obviously a part of the name of the school was that they had connection to all of the top private and boarding schools in New Jersey. So and also Akin from Arriere. And so that's how, you had me, Akin, and France. We went to Seton Hall. Duran went to Del Barton. You had a couple kids, go to St. Benedict's and stuff like that, oratory. But again, and so now you see that, especially in Newark, that's something that's a lot popular now, where you got less kids going to the Weekways and the Centrals and the East Sides. Well, not really East Side, because they're filthy at sports right now. But it's interesting that this is like a full-fledged public school, and so it's a little tough because you're putting a lot of promise in Akron public schools to be able to help this be successful. But this school is going to have a lot of resources where maybe not a lot of the other schools in that district have, and I think that, kind of to what you said, is going to help it be successful.
Dope.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So, obviously, part of the announcement of this school was the interview that he had on CNN with Don Lemon. And in addition to talking about the school and what led him to create this, there was questions about a lot of his comments about 45 and the current administration and what's going on, and just his social activism in general. And obviously, I think there was not only things said in this interview, but things that have gone on the Twitter throughout.
The Twitter.
Well, so the whole thing is making fun of Trevor Noah, where he's like the Twitter. So I didn't want to do that again, so I just went with the Twitter in a normal voice. But basically, there's been a lot of back and forth between LeBron and 45, and finally he had responded.
Back and forth.
Well,
it sounds like a couple of shots at each other, but it's like, I mean, Trump has said like one thing, LeBron said a couple of things, but it doesn't mean like a real back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So there was.
It was like 2 or 3 things. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
all those tweets come out that Trump was like slapping his knob.
Yes. Yeah. I wish I had it.
LeBron didn't say anything.
I had it pulled up right now.
If he was flopping his knob, pause, that was his man. Then his man came out and said something bad about him, so he had to clap back. Like, people don't want Trump to clap back because he's the president, but he don't give a fuck. So it's like, at the end of the day, he's with all the smoke. I'm fine with it.
He kind of pick and chooses the smoke that he wants.
What
he
does?
Soft as hell too. Like, come on.
And he came at him soft because he knew he didn't want the issue.
Nah.
But at the end of the day, he replied, so he's thorough.
He's like, pull up, you know where I live.
Like, he's thorough as fuck, bro.
I mean, but this isn't presidential. Like, this isn't what we do. Like, this isn't.
He was elected to be presidential, though.
He is a president, bro. Like, if you look at before Clinton and them, they was wilding, bro. Nixon,
they weren't like this, dude. Like, this is unprecedented.
Could you imagine them with social media, bro? Don't trust the Kennedys. All of them would have been wilding, bro.
Kennedy sliding in Marilyn Monroe DMs and it get broadcast. Front page on TMZ.
The Twitter? Those presidents would have been.
Oh man. So I do want to make a note here just because I do have the TV on in front of me on mute, and I'm actually here for what T.O. did, but we can talk about that later.
I'm sad about it though. I was at first, and then when the moment actually happened, I was like, I wish T.O. was.
I do kind of wish he was there, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I get why he did what he did, and I think I can kind of see maybe some people opting to go that route where they're doing this in front of like their people. But I mean, they were.
Do that because no one's disrespected like him.
Eh.
All the other first ballot Hall of Famers at least get in, and if they get screwed over, they at least get in second.
Yeah, but they made him wait what 3 years?
A long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like three times around. Like, so, I mean, for you to be that petty, like, he kind of had to do this. But back to the topic. I mean, again, I do think. Fine, I'll say his name. I do think Trump has picked and chose his spots, and I don't think this is the battle that he wants because.
Do you have an example?
Off the top of my head, well, mostly been LeBron. I think a lot of white people who have like come at him and said shit he hasn't said anything about.
Like who?
Eminem.
Because Eminem didn't say anything serious. He was just rapping.
Stop.
It was just like F Trump, man. He didn't say anything crazy. And also, who the hell is Eminem in 2018? Like, that doesn't matter anymore.
We talking about LeBron James.
I'm trying to think of who like says something about him that he hasn't come back at, and like it's a small list. Like LeBron's probably LeBron's like the only person I can really think like Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich. I guess you want to throw.
Yeah. So where's his comments about them? I mean, they're also in the sports world and just as You know, I mean, not
they've been,
as big of a
more
name
than LeBron. They've been regular. Like, I mean, Pop was saying.
Wait, who did you guys say?
Kerr and Popovich.
And Kerr. And I guess Van Gundy in Detroit too, but he got fired. So.
What'd you say?
He came at them as a whole, especially during the finals. He said, "Fuck y'all." He was like, "I wasn't gonna invite y'all anyway."
After they said they didn't want to go.
But he still replied.
Nah, that's not good enough. Not to the level of what he's going at the NFL at.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's a tweet, bro. He did the same thing to everyone. But the NFL is personal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We know. So I guess we can.
None of the NBA owners have said it. Except for Mark Cuban, but
yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good thing to kind of explain for people who may not know that history. So Trump owned a team within the USFL, the New Jersey Generals, and that back and forth between the USFL and the NFL, really Trump was kind of the lead of literally destroying this entire league, for crying out loud, who actually had the talent that a lot of these other upstart leagues that try to go at the NFL aren't able to get. And so I think there's obviously, some bad blood there. And then I guess in a sense of, maybe trying to truce and join this, this club, he, put in to own the Buffalo Bills once Ralph Wilson passed, and they weren't having it. And I mean, I personally think that, I know outside of, recording this podcast, I have, continued to say that I don't think Trump wanted any of this to actually go down. And I think anybody who kind of knows anything would tell you that I think he would definitely choose being a NFL owner over being a president. And so, I mean,
in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he gets to do the same shit and he gets to chill. Like, he gets to go golfing and relax and not talk serious shit with all these, like, dictators who he doesn't know and doesn't give a flying fuck about. And he gets to live his life. And so, yeah, it's certainly personal.
I think it changed at a point, though, when he realized, like, now I'm really that nigga. Like, I did some crazy shit. I'm really that fucking nigga, bro.
Yeah.
I love what Trump actually said, like, I'm that nigga.
Yeah, he did. That came out as well. He said it to Ben Carson, and Ben Carson couldn't check him. No, I do agree with that. I do think that, he reached a certain point of saying all this bullshit and being like, yo, people are, like, soaking this up. So, like, I get to say whatever I want now. And I mean, we're seeing that. We're seeing that no matter what he says or what he does, like, I don't know.
The numbers, bro.
He has a large support group, so regardless, you see what he
goes. He's gonna win by a landslide in 2020, bro. Especially if they put another woman out there, and nothing against women, but it's just
nothing against women.
They're putting a white man out there, man. There's no way in hell they're putting there's no minority and there's no women on the ticket in 2020. I'm guaranteeing it. Like, there's no way it's happening.
He's not
get that white vote back, man.
He's not beating Biden.
He's beating Biden by a landslide.
Nah, I don't know.
Bro, look at the numbers, bro. White people are so high. Like, you guys are tripping. He's winning by a landslide.
I don't think so.
Well,
I can see Pence beating him before Pence could beat Trump in a primary if they did it today.
Yeah, I think any actual conservative, like, who isn't here fucking up the bag.
He's winning. Like, people just don't want to accept white people for what they are.
Okay, wait. Here's a question on that, though. Why would he want to come back?
Because he's gonna. This is the end of his legacy. He's that nigga. He's at the point of I'm that nigga, and I'm gonna keep doing this shit, and I'm gonna keep talking shit, and they can't do nothing about it.
But this has to be stressful. Like,
lose the election. Nah, I think he wanted to lose the election.
I do too.
Start a TV network. Like, that's what he.
Yes,
that's what he wanted.
I agree with that.
TV.
video he dropped for 2020, the promo was crazy, bro. The dude, they're coming in hard, bro. They're ready. They made him look like the best thing ever. I'm telling you, bro.
Is this?
No one wants that Trump.
Is this the new Rockefeller Records? Trump
bro,
Records?
Yeah, no one wants to smoke with Trump. Trust me. He is that nigga, bro. I've seen people who, like, you understand, I wish we invited Ray on this podcast.
Oh, we'll have to get him on. I mean, maybe not right now, but.
Mind you, Ray is one of the most woke people I know. He had a slight thought like, yo, maybe Trump is doing the right thing right now, my dude. He was like, yo, think about what Kanye's saying, bro. And, like, I was like, Ray, can you hear yourself? And I was like, if he's convincing dudes like Ray, there's people who are quiet right now in between, like Tyrone right now, because I know Tyrone's about to press Trump in 2020. He's making all these jokes over himself. He doesn't matter.
You know, do you understand that Massachusetts is one of the most bluest states that there is?
Yeah, but Tyrone lives in the red part of the state.
I don't live in the red part. I don't even live in Massachusetts anymore.
But yeah, that's my Trump take. I'm gonna bet at least $5,000 that Trump wins 2020. So I'll cash out.
You taking that to Meadowlands? You taking that to the sports book?
I don't care if they put Barack Obama back on there. Trust me.
Barack is sitting here doing the electric slide at Beyonce's concert. He is not worried about any politics whatsoever.
Anybody, yeah, I know. He isn't worried about anybody. He's doing an electric slide while niggas getting shot. He ain't speaking on it. Trump 2020.
Trump 2020. All right. Well, we know who Dwa's voting for in a few years.
I ain't voting for none of these niggas, bro. I know what Dwa's voting for. We just know who's
He did. Yeah. He trying to tell me. Man.
I got bills to pay.
But I mean, I think the biggest piece of this. So obviously, we saw a lot of NBA players come to LeBron's defense. Basically, Trump's tweet was saying that the dumbest guy on TV like made LeBron look smart, and it's like hard to do. And he said that he liked Mike, which the two. So again, a lot of NBA players came to LeBron's defense, but then the two, I guess, most important responses came from Michael Jordan himself and Melania Trump, of all people. So Melania basically said that, she backed LeBron's work that he's been doing in the community, which I know we were saying off air that, I mean, you don't even need to say anything more than that. Even just saying anything about LeBron and good when you're the president's wife is, I think that's treason. Like, she should be tarred and feathered.
He needs to get her out of here, bro.
Yeah.
He's gonna deport her.
He might. he should lead a cause to find her birth certificate. Hello?
You. It's just quiet.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was like, did I say something wild?
Tyrone punched us out.
I had to let that hit home. Yeah. So that she. Whew, how much of a tongue lashing did she get for that?
They don't even stay in the same like room. They don't live in the same house. All this shit, they don't ever talk. He doesn't even anymore. Come on.
That was the first thing he heard from her to know she was still alive.
Like, who's Melania? Melania Trump? Is that one of my daughters? No. Who is this? He had no idea who that was. I'm telling you. I forgot he was married. Like, someone want to handle that?
Oh man. And then Mike. I don't even remember what he said, but in general, Mike fashion, when it comes to something of substance, it was very weak. Basically, he was trying to very lightly take LeBron's side and saying that, he did good stuff in the community or whatever.
Did he say all that?
I don't even know if he said all that. So the rest of this episode is definitely me getting Mike up out of here for good. and I'm ready to talk all of the I'm even ready to talk basketball. Like, let's get Mike up out of here.
He's a coon.
Like, you want to tell me 6-0? Like, I'm ready to argue that too. Like,
Listen, you know what kills the argument for the whole 6-0 thing? I keep telling people this: if KD, no matter how he does it, if he gets 6 rings, no one in the world can say that KD's not better than fucking Jordan. In the world, even though I would, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're 7 foot and you can shoot threes and you can guard 1 through 4, come on, man. Rings don't really matter to y'all that much. It's just because Nike put so much money behind protecting Michael Jordan that he's seen as the greatest.
Yeah, and I mean, me and Marcus were talking on Twitter, and I was just like, the rings argument lacks context. I mean, and it's not even a consistent argument. I mean, fucking Bill Russell has damn near double the amount of rings, and no one talks about him. Now, I know that like some people like to differentiate centers between like non-centers, but I mean, the ring, like, we're not even consistent with the rings argument. Like, how many rings does Robert Horry have? Like, we're not talking about him as being any of the like anywhere near top 10, top 20. Like,
he's like maybe a top 10 role player, maybe, just because he was there.
Mm-hmm.
He averaged like 12 points a game or something. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know if he's like that.
He might. He probably isn't. He was just at the right place at the right time and made a couple big shots. But yeah, he's probably not even a top 10 role player. I don't know what he was good at besides making threes when nobody shot threes. He shot what, 35% or something. Probably wouldn't even get turned today.
Wait, so Marcus, who's the GOAT, bro?
The GOAT? For me, I'd say Kareem.
Kareem, interesting.
Kareem, 6 rings, scored more points than everybody.
Take resume away. Take resume away. Who's the best basketball player to ever be in the NBA?
To ever be in the NBA, like, in terms of the skill, that's
just like if everyone was in their prime, and mind you, I think LeBron just got to his prime because he can shoot now.
Just got to his prime in year 15.
It's crazy, but if you were starting a team, who are you picking first?
I'm taking Kareem.
Okay, that's what I was saying before. I'm taking Kareem too.
Yeah, I'm actually taking a big man. Like, I mean, either Kareem, hell, I mean, give me Shaq too. Like, give me big men.
I'm taking Kevin Durant, then Anthony Davis, then LeBron. Because at the end of the day, if you're 7 foot and you can shoot threes and you can guard 5 positions, that's where I'm starting my team with.
But
I'm taking Kareem over those guys just because he's 7'4". No one can stop him. Again, and with those guys, Durant and Davis, Kareem never got hurt. Kareem was
Well, and that's the same thing. That's the same thing with LeBron too, in terms of like lack of injuries.
Yeah, LeBron's probably 2. And Kevin Durant's probably 3 of the guys of those like top guys because they're unstoppable.
And
they don't get hurt.
Yeah, and the big thing for me, but that's the thing too, like, and that's such a big piece. Like, when we look at the GOATs, when we look at like all-time greats, it's all of that stuff. Like, when you talk about context, like, yes, part of it is championships, part of it is accolades, like Rookie of the Year, MVP. Part of it is also luck in terms of not getting injured. Like, that's a huge derailer of careers. But then another piece that I like to always add in it is influence. Like, there's influence in terms of what you do, as this, central figure. Obviously, Kareem and everything he did back in the day is accounted for. Like, we know what Kareem did within the culture. We obviously are sitting here talking about what, LeBron's doing in the culture. Like, that impact that you have, not just on the game in terms of people wanting to be like you and play like you, but what you do with this like platform that you have is all part of it. Like, people want it to be.
Where do you guys put Steph Curry?
Curry's probably like top 5 for me.
Yeah,
I think he has to be top 5 all time.
Especially because he's 3-1 against LeBron in the finals. Like, that should count for something.
Well, again,
Steph Curry wouldn't be able to be guarded in any generation.
that and his influence. Kids, I coach like at the Y on the weekends. These kids are shooting from like half court, just trying to be like
bro,
Steph Curry.
I was playing at LA Fitness, bro. These 16-year-old kids are shooting from half court, wet and shit. I'm like, oh my god, this is. No one can get to the bucket though, but they like
Yeah.
average 16-year-old kids, bro. Handle is crazy, and they can shoot from far.
Yeah. Just wanting to be like, and the cool thing about Steph though, to me more than any of those other guys is that that's actually attainable. Like you can't be 6'9", 250. You can't be, you can't replicate Jordan's.
6'4", bro.
But that's the thing. Well, you can't. He's taller than we give him credit for. I think he's like 6'3" and some change.
Like he's Isaiah Thomas, bro.
No, he's not.
Michael Jordan was 6'5". That's another reason why people like Michael Jordan, because there's a lot of 6'5" guys.
Yeah, but like again, you like in terms of like LeBron, in terms of Kareem, Shaq, like you can't just teach that. I mean, yeah, in terms of Jordan, like I'm just talking about his athleticism. Like you can't teach that. Like the thing with Steph though, Steph is a little bit taller, but Steph's a twig. Like, and we remember Steph more so, well not more so, but we remember Steph in college going to fucking Davidson and still giving people work, like just off shooting. And so like for a kid in his driveway, like who, may not be the tallest, may not be the most athletic, like you can work to try to get there and do that.
Big facts, no cap, bro.
So, yeah, I mean, I definitely think Steph. And actually, the cool thing about Steph, too, I mean, we were sitting here talking about injuries. Well, he had the injuries, and look where he's at now. Like, hell, his injuries is why they have the team they had, because he came cheap. And between giving everybody else this super discount, they had enough for that max.
Big facts, bro. Okay. I'm glad we're.
You're glad what?
We agree on Steph.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I do think we agree that, Jordan has to hand that crown over. I think LeBron, but I think the thing with the GOAT, though, is that your career needs to be over. Like, we need to look at everything in totality. So I still think LeBron is continuing to, build on his resume. And I don't think that, I think we've come, I mean, obviously we all kind of agree that the rings argument isn't, anything that puts you over everybody. But, I mean, we'll see how soon, because I do think it's a question of how soon. We'll see how soon he can get to the Lakers there. And, if he can get one more championship for a third, franchise, I don't know. I mean, I think that becomes a question between him and Kareem now.
Tyrone, the thing is, in your mind, so I was just in the barbershop, which is actually kind of crazy because I never go to the barbershop. So Horton broke up with me, so I had to go to the barber.
I got to hit Horton up now that we're down the street.
So I'm at the barbershop yesterday, and I realized for dudes who grew up in the fucking, like born in the 80s, 70s, and before, like old heads.
Yeah.
Not even 80s, late 70s, like those dudes, it don't matter because in their head, they're always like, well, LeBron can't do what he's doing now in the fucking, in the 90s. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter ever because they think that hand checking thing was such a big deal. But I'm like, so one of the barbers was like, yo, you guys keep saying that, but you're acting like Dominique Wilkins, who is 2 inches shorter than LeBron, lighter than LeBron. He was bodying everybody. So why don't you think LeBron would translate to the 90s?
Yeah.
At this point, I realized old heads will never let that, because they were children in that age, so they probably idolized that.
Mm-hmm.
They will never let anyone else become the GOAT. It don't matter. Like this RJ Barrett kid could with 17 rings, they might still be like, well, this era's soft. They don't touch nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you that every.
I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. So there's no not moving off of that block. That's
But-
all they're gonna keep cycling the same bullshit.
Every generation is going to have their own version of the GOAT, though, because I mean, like you said, it is like what you grew up on and what you watched, happen. And like, yeah, if you're really good, like, I mean, Brady just showed up on my TV. Like, if you're really good like that, like Brady Jordan, you can keep that crown for a little while.
That's crazy.
What'd you say?
People don't even think Brady's the GOAT. That's how you know old heads are drunk.
Drunk. Yeah, I mean, I think again, if you're like an all-time great, like you can hold that crown for a while, but I mean, there's going to be somebody who comes along, and again, when you have context, like people are going to try to make the case somehow, some way that this criteria is now more important. I think the thing with Brady, not even just the rings piece, but like his whole story. Like you're a 6th round pick, you start off 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. You get in because Bledsoe gets hurt. Bledsoe actually came back in the playoffs and won that AFC Championship game. Like that was a actual question as to who was going to start that Super Bowl. And they went to Brady and never looked back. But I mean, I think that story, like, I mean, his combine photo, like his whole story is part of what makes him the GOAT. It's not just the 5 rings. It's the entire narrative that you build behind the person that you can then make the case for this person being the greatest of all time.
Big facts, bro.
Word.
I think another thing too, that's with Brady and guys like the Rams, like these guys seem to get better with age. That's not something that we used to see with guys from a past generation. Like,
yeah.
Really guys from 2007, 2008 and got really good. And then just kind of, he's always in that top 3 quarterback question where it's like other guys like Tony Romo, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, those guys just fell off with age. In the NBA, guys just kind of, they reach like 32, 33. Like look at Melo versus LeBron. And Melo's trash, and LeBron's, still top 3 in the game right now.
I think that narrative on Melo being trash is overstated, bro.
Uh-oh.
He averaged 18 points with a ball. He's okay.
I will say he was in a terrible situation with OKC because let's hold on to the ball for like 20 seconds in the shot clock and just waste possessions. But yeah,
he's not as good as he used to be, but he's definitely still a competent basketball player. Like if you can drop 18 next to Russell Westbrook being the 3rd option, like I think that's what I'm saying, like. That's still a good look.
Yeah.
He can still give you some. I think the Rockets are going to be trash, but it's fine.
I think that he was in a terrible situation.
Yeah.
Just because also that coach Billy Donovan is not a good basketball coach for the NBA. I don't know why he's still there. I think the Thunder would be like a 60-win team without him. But yeah, hopefully with the Rockets he can be 17, 18 a game, shooting better, and I don't know. He's not going to play defense, but if he can just be like a good rebounder or find something else to do. Then, the Rockets should be all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my hot take was already that I don't think the Warriors are repeating. And, I mean, if they got...
I think you're an alcoholic.
That is a hot take, man.
No, it's the hottest. Yeah. I mean, listen, check the tape. Check the tape back when this doesn't happen, and I'll take my pat on the back then.
Who's going to beat them?
I mean, shit, the Rockets were a game away, and they just got better.
They were bored. They weren't trying. Now they know.
Oh, so that's it?
It's like,
they're bored.
Bill Simmons has this whole thing about why the Celtics were so good when, way back. It was because every year they had a new guy to play for. Like this year, they're gonna go out and they're gonna be like, we're just gonna get to market this ring, and then we're gonna all go our own way. This is the last one.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think this lasts that long after this. Yeah, I'm fully on board with that. Yeah. I mean, I just think these things never last the way we think. Like, again, look at the Heat. Like, you go 2 for 2. It only lasts 4 years. Like, well, yeah, look. I mean, they were...
the Heat and the Warriors, though.
Yeah, there's a difference.
He didn't have that supporting cast. He did not have the big 3 with Wade breaking down. They didn't have the guys around them, and they were hard capped by the luxury tax.
Yeah.
The Warriors have all their guys locked in. They're opening a new arena that's going to bring in millions of dollars to help them offset the cost of luxury tax. All those guys are still in their prime, so they're going to keep that team together at least for another 2 years, maybe 20.
Yeah, I think
KD will leave.
Draymond.
Draymond's gone. I think somebody can get Clay up out of there. Like,
I don't think Clay's leaving, bro.
I think Clay loves being there.
See, but okay, wait. Here's the thing. So we heard this postseason about, like, I forget who said it. I think it might have been David West or somebody was saying about how, like, there was a bunch of drama this year. Like, I think there's the ego kind of point of it too. What happened?
I listened to a couple of Warriors insiders on the Athletic, and they said it was really just with injuries, and there was really no big, like, turf level. There's nothing major that happened. It was just that, like, people thought it would be easy, and it wasn't as easy because they had that 7-game series with the Rockets. There was no, like, scandal or anything behind the scenes, or, you know, people have to fight KD because he's not passing the ball. There's no drama there.
Yeah.
Bro, Clay's not going nowhere, bro. People keep saying he's going to go to the Lakers. First off,
no, I don't see that.
People are overstating that the Lakers need a star because I think two of those guys are going to be stars. I think they're overstating how good Brandon Ingram is, but I really like Josh Hart. I think Lonzo's always going to be a steady point guard in the NBA.
I agree.
And I think Kuzma's going to be really good. So it's like,
you're looking at the shocking people next year. I think that team is a lot better than they think.
Yeah, so I think they can be like 4th or 5th seed, and I think they definitely beat whoever the higher seed is, like, above them. Like, yeah. And I mean, everybody's like tripping because they don't have shooters, because that's what LeBron has been around before. But I'm not convinced that that's going to stop them.
I think LeBron's going to become the shooter. They're really
LeBron
is the shooter. Like Ingram and Lonzo Ball playing on ball. They're getting LeBron open looks whenever they can. That's going to be like the new. I think it's going to be the system, like, to start.
And I mean that's a pretty tall, like, long team. I mean that's always been the, you know, good part about the Warriors too, is that, like, when they go to that small lineup, is that, you know, they're really long. You got Iguodala there, like Klay Thompson is 6'7". Like, I mean, really, it's just how do we hide Steph, like, defensively. So I think the Lakers will be fine.
Last year, he put James Harden on clamps. That's kind of fun. All right.
James
Harden put himself on clamps, bro.
Yes, thank you. I don't trust James Harden. I just don't.
He was jacket, bro. He was on drugs.
I mean, that's how he played all year. He just ran out of gas. How he put the clamps on. It was a bad combination.
See, but I feel like that's him. Like, he can do that MVP shit, and then I don't trust him in the post. Like, I'll believe it when I see it, but, like, I don't know if he'll be able to ever get it done. I think he gets the bubble guts. Like, I don't know. I'm not a believer yet.
He needs another two. He needs a better sidekick and a third guy, I think. Chris Paul isn't the answer because he breaks down.
Who? Harden?
James Harden, yeah. He just doesn't have
the
gun.
That's just much over, bro. Giannis is about to get MVP next year. The Warriors are going to go head to head with the Lakers. The Thunder are going to be really good. The Wizards are going to surprise the league next year. Because John Wall is extremely angry, and he doesn't care about the team no more. He has to watch out for it.
I give it 47 games before somebody pulls a gun out on Dwight Howard in that locker room.
I don't think, that's another thing we're talking about. That's it? 47 games?
Yeah, 47. Magic number.
I don't know it's that bad. It's just an NBA thing. Nobody wants the 17 and 14 no more, bro. John Wall
wasn't the center anymore. The same thing with Whiteside in Miami.
John Wall was like, we got Gortat out of here. Let's get it. Because they were really about to fight.
If they can all get along, I think that Wizards team is going to be really good. I like the pieces that they have. And, I mean, everybody's sitting here saying, but that's another thing. Can we stop with this whole idea that the East is going to be dog shit? Like, it's every year we say that. Yeah. When you actually look at it.
The East was better than the West last year. Nobody wants it.
Yeah, they were.
The fucking Blazers were the third seed. That's all you have to say, bro.
Hey, listen. No Blazer slander.
I can't argue with it because the Blazers were trash. I mean, Pelicans were trash.
We were trash.
Who else we get up out of here?
It was two teams.
Yeah, it was two teams and everybody else was just garbage behind them. Big fact.
Listen, we don't have a wing, and we would have had a wing if Carmelo decided to come to Portland versus going to Oklahoma City, but that's neither here nor there.
Bro. Got traded.
He could have decided where he wanted to go, and he didn't want to come. Fuck him. And fuck Boogie. I'm with CJ.
He wouldn't have helped you guys, though.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been it probably would have been as good of a fit as this Oklahoma City thing, but I mean, I don't know. Even with Boogie, like, I would have wanted him to come, but I think in this situation, no, because like no one in their right minds throwing him the bag coming off that Achilles. So I mean, the best thing for him is to literally sit down, like, come back in the playoffs, destroy everybody, you know, maybe get a ring, and then get the bag there when. But and then I hope the question still isn't like this narrative that he's gonna be like a troublemaker. Like, he didn't do anything crazy in New Orleans. Like, he was on the Sacramento Kings for crying out loud.
White people just don't like when black people are passionate to a certain extent that they can't understand. Because they're like, he's also a very big black guy, so it's like when he gets started wilding, it's scary to them. But like when Aaron Rodgers is doing the same exact shit, it's like, oh my god, he has so much passion. What a competitor.
Right.
Like, they're both the same. And either way, DeMarcus has no, like, he, like, for gamblers who are going to listen to this, if the line is -6, if DeMarcus plays, it might be -6.5. He's not going to move the needle for none of them, bro. He's just there to collect his ring and then ride off into the sunset. Elton Brand should have did the same thing when he got hurt.
Yeah. And people being mad at him for going there is stupid. Like, you could have offered him. Like, you decided you didn't want to offer him, and then you're mad at him for. They're mad at what?
But there's more backlash to the Warriors adding another All-Star more than DeMarcus going to the Warriors. Like, people wanted, like, I think if he had gone, like, no one would have been mad at the Wizards or the Celtics for signing him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
the Warriors, it's like, oh, they got another All-Star there.
How many other teams had their chance at him, man? They chose not to.
I think every team.
Yeah, everybody.
For the mid-level, every team had a chance at him.
Yep. But the thing is that made the Warriors like able to do that too is just the locker room he's going into. Like, I mean, they're fine. Like, and they've brought in other people before. They brought in Swaggy P. Like, I mean, that's not a worry for them. Like, DeMarcus isn't going to come in there and destroy them. Yeah, and JaVale McGee. Like, so he's not going to come in there and completely destroy and crumble their locker room. Like, so I mean, I thought it was smart. Like. And for him, basketball-wise, you literally get to take your time coming back. Like, you're not going to a team where you need to be rushed back because you need to help them make the playoffs. Like, you can chill.
Exactly. Well, fellas, I got to run.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the podcast.
Word.
Enjoy the day.
All right. Yeah.
Long to go. Trump 2020. Vocals out.
All right, yeah, I think that's a good place to leave off here. Obviously, thank you guys all, especially you, Marcus. I know it's really late notice, but yeah, now that I'm paying for this Mixler thing, I definitely want to make sure we keep this going. Jamal, I know you were here for a lot of it too, and I personally felt like having listened back to these things when I had to edit them, which I am retiring from editing. Like, we're just part of doing this is that I want this shit to be authentic and legit, and whatever fuck ups are in there, like, they're in there. But I felt like we were getting really good as we were getting comfortable. So, I definitely want to, keep this going, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever we can agree on. And, Marcus, I want to have, you and a bunch of other people on as well. 'Cause, it's cool just to sit down and talk to shit and talk about, these, all these different things going on. And I think having the most perspectives you can, is a dope thing.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, this is cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, anytime, just let me know.
All right, word. All right, fellas. Thank you again. Have a good one.
All right, man. Catch up to you guys.
All right.
All right, man.
Peace. Later.
Nice to see you, Mark. See you time.
All right. See you. Okay, now it's just me. So that is our second welcome back episode. Again, I'm going to and see this wasn't as long as the other ones, but definitely want to put this out every week. And I think once I can agree with these assholes on a set day and time, I will definitely be putting this out to everybody so that you can, come on Mixlr and listen and, be here in the chat room, because I really do think that's going to be a funny part. And we'll see how the audio on this one came out. I did have those guys on the phone. We do have a Skype ability to, broadcast and Mixlr. And so I will also be, looking into that. And then I promise, actually maybe once I'm done cooking, I will try to look into that now, making a YouTube page and putting up the old episodes. And obviously revamping our Twitter, because I think we made a Twitter and then didn't do anything with it. But definitely looking to get this off the ground, now. And hopefully you'll be joining us on a weekly basis or bi-weekly or whatever. We'll get the schedule out to everybody. And again, thank you for listening. All right. Peace.